Alright guys, welcome to another beer review and Happy New Year. Yeah, it's the New Year video and I sort of had like a Christmas message, so I'm not going to go into it in this one, but I hope 2019 was the best year it possibly could be for you, and I'm sure everyone had their own struggles, and obviously we had to go through the general election and more Brexit bullshit and that sort of thing, but it all means absolutely fuck all at the end of the day, that sort of stuff, so no need to worry about that. But yeah, I hope each and every one of you guys and girls who are watching this had as best of a time as they possibly could. I know this time of year is quite a hard one for a lot of people out there, but yeah, you might feel like no one's there for you and there's no point, but there'll always be someone there, whether it's a relative, friend, or a complete stranger, or a professional who will, help you the best that they possibly can. And yeah, I think we just need to listen to each other, talk to each other, and break the stigma of mental health, because I know it's something of an urban myth that it rises at Christmas. If you look at the statistics, of course, but the fact that it still happens pretty much every day, it's a sad thing, and it's I'd like to think that a lot of those cases and a lot of future cases can be avoided. So that's it, really. You are worth something to someone. You might not realise it, but yeah, it's easier said than done at the end of the day. And yeah, that's it, really. So, on to the beer review. And I think I'm going to try and do this each year from this point forward. We're going to have a look at the Fuller's Vintage Ale. Now, this is the 2019 version, best before it's 31st of December 2029. Recording this on Boxing Day, so I can get it uploaded for New Year's Eve. Well, at 12 o'clock. Although I'd like to think that a lot of people won't actually be watching my video as soon as it goes up at midnight. But hey, sometimes, bringing in the new year, it's quite overrated, really, isn't it? I'll just probably be drinking, playing on the Xbox, or sitting downstairs with family, watch like Jules Holland or something like that. But yeah, so 8.5% ABV. So I'll quickly read this year's description. An annual limited edition brew, Fuller's Vintage Ale is the most special beer to leave our Griffiths brewery each year. Every vintage ale recipe is unique from the last, yet all made to mature, with flavours developing over time. I have actually got another bottle of this, which I'm going to hopefully keep hold of, but I'll probably end up drinking this on New Year's Eve, probably. I could always pick up more if Boobs have still got it. For Vintage Ale 2019, we travelled 12,000 miles for inspiration, as West London meets South Island, New Zealand. Waiheke hops bring mandarin, lemon and lime to the fore, whilst crystal malt grown on New Zealand's Canterbury Plains adds notes of toasted bread and honey. Looking a little closer to home, our Fuller's yeast gives the beer its familiar orange marmalade backbone, bottle conditioned in a natural sediment with will form. What is going on with my brain? So store upright and pour carefully, and I'm starting to sound bunged up, and it's really bloody frustrating. And my nose is hurting as well. You get those sort of like, because don't lie, you pick your nose, whether people see you or not. And you get to like those parts where it feels like you're ripping it off your nose, almost to the point like, I'm actually ripping the inside of my nose out here. It's that, but it's so satisfying. It really, really is. Anyway, we're not here to talk about snot. It's not here for that. It's not the time nor place. Oh my god. One of those days, folks. One of those days. So yeah, as always, presented beautifully in this cardboard box. Unfortunately, this year it doesn't seem like they're putting a booklet in there because there's nothing in there. It's just a nice little touch. Going over, oh god, excuse me, previous year's vintage ales, and just realised I probably had snot on my nose then that you could have probably seen, but oh well. Out of sight, out of mind. And of course, the bottle is beautifully presented as well, with a nice sort of label on the neck of the bottle. God, I can't talk, it's annoying me. So this is number 068183, which is 68,183 if you're a normal human being. But yeah, very nice 500ml bottle. Let's see if we can, although I've got nothing to back it onto or stick it onto, we shall give it a try. Oh no, it's snapped, so oh well. I've got another bottle of this. Oh, is that serrated? Is that serrated on that side, or was it just because the teeth of the bottle cap were there? No, it rips pretty much exactly the same on that side. I think there is an actual design on the cap, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there we go. Really, really nice. Picked mine up from booths. Picked up a couple of bottles. I think they were like £4 each, so I'm not going to complain. And if I was a patient man, I'd pick up a few to sell, because as you can see from the very earlier vintage of this, they do fetch a pretty penny. Not sure if, oh god, not sure if beers of recent years will still be valued as highly in years gone by, but you never know. But to be honest, I drink beer to enjoy it. I think the most I've been able to sell a beer is like for a year, and the only times I've really had like a really old vintage is if I was gifted it or bought it with a few years on it. But I've never been the sort of person to put a bottle away for years. Do you know what I mean? It's just not what I do. Mainly because I can't do it, because I just have no self-control. And yeah, I had to just basically put some water on my hair to brush it back, because you know, with it being Boxing Day, you know, you're not going to shower to sit around your house. Do you know what I mean? You're going to fester in your own filth with family. Anyway, beer in the glass then, and that's a lovely sort of chestnut ruby look to it. Beautiful clarity. Beer poured with about 1 finger's worth of a very soft beige looking head. So, what you would expect from this sort of beer. Let's give it a swirl and a sniff. Definitely malty. There's a little bit of chestnut there. Very general sort of toasted nuts character. Maybe some caramelised nuts, like from a German Christmas market. Not really getting any of the sort of like citrusy tones. Not even like a marmalade-y character. I don't know what these hops are, so I'm not a big fan of New Zealand hops. I think they're very, very overrated. Mandarin, lemon and lime. I don't really get that. It's more desserty, and it's got a little bit of like a liqueur character to it. I mean, it's lovely. It's one of those beers that you just know is going to be full of character. But yeah, sweet malt tones. There's like berries, cherries. Yeah, sort of like when you get the fruit mix to make your own like mince pies and that sort of stuff. Or like fruit and nut. That's the sort of thing I'm getting. Currants, dates, that sort of thing. It's figgy. It's a little bit jammy, but I wouldn't like say it's like really fruity. If you get my meaning. If you get my meaning. That sounded so weird when I first said that. It smells good, so let's give it a taste. Cheers, guys, and here's to 2020. It's a bit more fruity and citrusy on the flavour. It's quite musky and spicy as well. Sort of like star anise and that sort of stuff. Maybe a bit of like stem ginger and turmeric, turmeric. No, not turmeric, because that's like. Well, I've heard turmeric in coffee is quite good. Cumin is what I'm trying to say. There's a little bit of a toffee sweetness there, but it's not really a in-your-face sweetness. It's quite a dense sweetness. A little bit of wood character coming through. Gonna get interrupted. Fucking knew it. Medium mouthfeel. Ooh. There's a flavour on the back end that's just emerged that I can't put the finger on, but it's very familiar. Yeah, nutty on the back end. Alcohol is masked, I would say. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's one of those ones that's... It's really nice, but it doesn't feel too special, if that makes sense. There's a very slight brandy-esque character to it. Yeah. I've only had a couple of the vintage ales. And from what I've seen, a lot of them are like really putting a big focus on hops. And, you know, hops fade over time. So I don't know what could develop with this. Obviously, I'm not in the brewing industry, and I've got a palate that is still in progress. So take that opinion with a pinch of salt. I don't know. It's okay, but I was expecting a little bit more oomph to it, a little bit more robustness and depth of flavour. It almost tastes like a Christmas sort of beer. You know, in real ale breweries do like a slightly spiced version of the recipe that they already have, like a sort of like a spiced ruby ale or something like that. That's the sort of impression I'm getting. You do get that slight sort of oranginess, but it's again, it's like, you know, those foods where you've got like orange slice. It's a savoury dish, but you've got the orange slice on, then you've got the spices, and then like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like 70s food. You know, you look at like a 70s cookbook, and there's these gearish big platters and big, you know, presentation pieces. It's like spiced orange. There's like a mulled character to it. It's more, for me, a Christmas beer. But I do like it. It's tasty. I just, I think it should be more than it is for a vintage ale, for, you know, one of Fuller's, if not Fuller's, you know, most esteemed yearly releases. Um, Compared to last year's, I can't remember the flavour of last year's, to be honest, because it's been over a year since I've drank it. Well, funny enough, I bought my dad one last year, and or did I? No, I missed out on last year's. I had the year before, and I actually gave my bottle of last year's vintage ale to my dad for him to try, and he opened it um, on Christmas Eve and sent me like photos and let me know what he thought of it. Yeah, I just don't know how this beer is gonna develop and how it's going to improve over maturation. It tastes like you should be drinking it as fresh as you can, because you get like a hoppiness there, but not like hoppy in the sense that we're all completely used to now. where our palates being absolutely destroyed by juice all the time. I hate the way nowadays that's what's determined as hoppy, for the most part. And this almost does have a bit of like a West Coast IPA that's been aged. Yeah, it tastes like a West Coast IPA that's been purposely aged in like a barrel. That's the sort of character I'm getting from it, because you get those malty caramel tones. Um, yeah, it's all right. Is it worth the £4 that I paid for it? Maybe. Is it a beer that I'm glad that I got another bottle of? Yeah, but am I gonna keep hold of that other bottle for like 6 months, a year, longer? No, I'm probably am gonna drink it on New Year's Eve, because the beer itself has like a sense of occasion to it, but to me, it doesn't justify being the vintage ale this year, if that makes sense. Fuller's could have released this beer as a Christmas seasonal. Do you know what I mean? And a very good one, but yeah, as a vintage ale and Fuller's most special release of the year, I don't know. It slightly misses the mark. In terms of the rating, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. I've had a few Fuller's beers in the past few weeks, ones that I've not been able to get hold of, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them. Fuller's are still, a very, very high quality brewery. And since the whole take buyout and stuff, I've not noticed a drop in quality, although I don't think by the nature of it there would be too much. Yeah, it's alright. 7.5 out of 10. If you've tried this year's vintage, I'd love to hear your thoughts, opinions down below. What's been your favourite vintage up to this point? And I'd like to hear your thoughts if you have drunk it. How do you think this beer will develop over time? I myself can't see too much happening. It might get a little bit more malty, a little bit more sweet, when those hops slightly fade. And I don't know with those hops what sort of flavours they will impart after they've sort of aged, and you know what I mean. Again, I'm just a fucking idiot talking about beer, so never listen to what I ever have to say. Don't know why I made that noise. I am so overweight, I'm just making noises for no reason. But yeah, so beer to close out 2019. For me personally, this year hasn't been too bad for me. A lot of people saying that this has been the worst year of their life, and people who I know personally, and I'm like, well, I've known you throughout this whole year, and I've not really seen anything too bad happen to you. So it just annoys me that like people let stuff like Brexit and a general election rarely get to them. Do you know what I mean? It's exhausting seeing people complain and literally cry over what is rarely an unimportant political decision. And as they say, if voting actually made a difference, they wouldn't let you vote. And I can't remember who said that. Is it Kenneth Clark who said that or something like that? I can't remember. But yeah, as I said at the start of the video, if it was a bad year for you, I hope that there are, brighter days and years ahead. And if you do need to speak to someone or let it out, let it out. Whether it be a Facebook post, a blog post, a YouTube video, a podcast, a song, writing it to yourself on a piece of paper, putting it in a diary, reaching out to a specialist, or calling a charitable organisation, just talking to your mate, talking to your family. Just let it out. And for those who, know someone who's going through some stuff, just be there. And you don't have to, you know, cover them in cotton wool and, go, oh, what's wrong? What's wrong? Just let me. Just let them know you're there if they need you to be there. And as said, we've got all of this social media. People can be connected with family living across the other side of the world, but we hardly talk to each other. We hardly address issues that we have in ourselves, and we very seldom take seriously the problems that people we know have, and it's really, really sad. So, just remember there's always someone there in some way, shape, or form if you need them. And if someone is reaching out to you, just be there for them. You don't have to know the answers. You don't have to, I'm not getting into it. It's could be another video for another day. Anyway, I hope 2019 was good for you guys. I hope 2020 is going to be even better. And here's to another year of drinking, probably a little bit too much. But hey, that's life and you only live once. Thank you guys for watching. And without you guys, I would not be doing this. So I greatly appreciate each and every one of you watching this for taking the time out of your lives to waste it to listen to me talk absolute nonsense and give a really subpar review of a beer. It doesn't go unnoticed. Love you all, and I shall hopefully see you next time, which will be next year. How mental is that? See you later, guys. Cheers.